What's up, guys? We are back. It looks like 36 weeks now we have been doing the Corvette Weekly with Vet Syndicate, Horsepower Obsessed, all these guys, Protective Dad Pranks, Front Seat Driver. We're all here. Together we are Vet Syndicate. Thanks for tuning in again, guys. I see a lot of the same names over here. It seems like every week we do this, I do see some new names popping up as well, which is really awesome. Definitely a big happy holidays to everybody out there. Merry Christmas to those of you who celebrated. Happy holidays to the rest. This is going to be our last Corvette Weekly before Christmas, so Merry Christmas. But we will be doing one of these right after Christmas, and we're still going to be talking a lot about the giveaway tonight because we do have something really cool to give away. We are going to extend that giveaway by 1 week because last week we didn't do a Corvette Weekly. It was more of just a singular thing with me. So we're going to extend it into January now, just 1 extra week. But that does give you guys a better chance of winning the engine dress-up pieces from American Hydrocarbon. Steve probably has them down here. Yeah, there they are. So carbon fiber and red. Very, very cool looking pieces. American Hydrocarbon makes some really awesome stuff. And guys, the link is at the top of the chat. If you're interested in winning those, every $10 donated will get you entered to win. If the previous giveaways have showed you anything, you don't have to necessarily give $500 to win these things. One of the previous winners only donated $10, and they were the winner of the license plate cover, I believe it was. So, yeah. What's up, Steven Rapp? Let's see. We got Paul, Blown 6th Gen. Happy holidays, everybody. Definitely, like I said, this will be the last one before Christmas, so happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all that good stuff. Whip Reynolds says, hey, Justin and Amber, headed to visit Pete Calloway at Callaway Cars tomorrow. Nice. It's Taco Tuesday, and I'm buying. Sweet. All right, guys. So, yeah, everything's been good. I know it feels like it's been a little while. I don't know why. I know I didn't have Jason and Steve on last week because, like I said, I wanted to try to just, change it up every now and then. I don't want it just to be the same thing every single week. Plus, there was a little bit of a cool situation to talk about with Street Speed's car and all that stuff. And if you notice, his is actually the car of the week right over here. So again, guys, if you want your car to be featured there, shoot me an email or send a message to Vet Syndicate on Instagram, and we'll get your car up there for Car of the Week. It will sit there for 1 hour on a Monday Night Live here. So if you're interested in that, like I said, shoot me an email or send it to Vet Syndicate. Shane's in the house. What's up, Shane? Feels like it's been a while. Actually, it hasn't been that long since I've talked to you, but it feels like it has been. I don't know why. Great White North Corvette. General Lee. LT4 powered. You're going to break the consistency chain. Yeah, well, consistency gets a little boring after a little while, too. So I don't want it to be the same thing always. But, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, this is the group. This is the solid group of people. We're going to be, the majority of the time is going to be us three. But every now and then, we're going to change it up just to make sure you guys don't get too bored. Jay Red says, hey there, Justin, checking in from Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. I can vouch for Pat's stuff at American Hydrocarbon. The dress-up kit is on my C5 is amazing. Yep. He makes some really awesome stuff. He's actually one of the first ones that was making custom-painted engine covers for a C8 Corvette. He's actually the one that I had on my red C8 whenever I had that car. So definitely, obviously, I appreciate his products because I put them on my car. So if I put them on mine, you should be putting them on yours too because they are pretty good stuff. Yeah, guys, hit those thumbs ups. Definitely a good thing. Actually, Steve, did you get your engine cover yet?
No, it should be any time. It wasn't being painted last week, but all my carbon fiber engine pieces are in the mail, so I can't wait for that.
Nice. All right, so Steve has an engine cover coming from Pat over at American Hydrocarbon as well, so stay tuned for that thing. It's going to look pretty freaking awesome on his car. Yeah. General Lee says cold start. Oh my God, it would actually be a cold start. Steve, tell us how cold it is in your garage right now.
It's about 35 degrees. I got 3 shirts on and a jacket. That's
dedication, guys. So if he does a cold start, it would actually be pretty cold. Steve, are you open to that idea?
Yeah, for the right amount.
Yeah, there we go. All right. So, guys, as you know, like I said, at the top of the chat here, we have it pinned, the Venmo link. Every $10 you spend is an entry to win those American hydrocarbon pieces. If we get a donation of $100, one solid donation of $100, Steve will cold start his I almost said truck, his C8 Corvette. And it will be a cold start because it's only 30 degrees in his garage. We got 35 thumbs up currently. We could use some more. That would be awesome. Yeah, look, you actually probably should cold start that thing just to warm up a little bit.
Oh man,
LT4.
Last time I was high. I was high for like an hour. Because the exhaust was like.
LT4 Powered says, I guess we don't need to worry about Steve falling asleep since it's so cold in there.
Mm-hmm. That's the best way to sleep. It's cold. I love it. Yeah.
Spurgle, you could send it to Vet Syndicate. You could send it. Oh, boy, that didn't take long. Oh, that's funny. All right, guys. So, Spurgle, real quick, though, you could send it to me at horsepowerobsessed@gmail.com or to Vet Syndicate on the Instagram account. Steven Rapp already, not wasting any time, donates the first $100. So Steve's going to have to cold start his car now in 80 or 30 degree weather there. Show that key tag again, Steve. Look at that. Look at that key tag. That's pretty cool.
There you go. Oh, man. Look at this. My wife's like, what the heck? Are we ready?
All right, guys, here we go. Wait.
It's going to smell.
Cold start.
Wow, that's enough.
Wow. It's hard to tell because the mic reduces the volume so much, but you can barely hear Steve whenever he's talking.
Wow.
Did you drive that at all today?
No, I haven't driven it since Saturday when we got together and had lunch with everybody.
Nice. So that's a 2.5 day cold start. That's awesome. Steven, thank you so much.
Thanks, Steven.
He should have to forfeit the key ring. Why? Why should he have to forfeit the key ring? Shane says we got 55 thumbs up currently, guys. We just cold started for you in 30 degree weather in a garage, literally right behind him. He's probably covered in exhaust soot now. Like, we need some more thumbs ups. I think that's worthy of more thumbs ups.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, not bragging, Steve, but it's 35 degrees here and I'm toasty in my garage at 72. Raise the door and then close it.
Man.
Oh, well.
Got a heater in there.
Nice. That's the way to do it. It does sound very good. Red Stingray Corvette. It does. And eventually, here, not too long, it's probably going to sound even better.
Yes.
What's up, four-wheel drive? We appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We do have a lot of C8 news to cover tonight. Not just Z06, not just ERAY, but even Corvette Stingray stuff. So we got three different performance variants news to cover tonight as well.
I got to add Steven Rapp's money to the roster.
Yeah. Are you keeping track of that, Steve?
That's another 10. Yeah. That's another 10 right there.
Yep. 10 entries for him. Let's see if we got anything in Venmo yet. We do. Steve Robertson sent $50. So thank you, Steve. I didn't even see him on here. Thanks, Steve. We'll get you added in. $50 for Steve Robertson, $100 or yeah, it's basically $100 for.
Sparkle said he sent it on Facebook.
Oh, okay. No, he's talking about a video. All right, I'll check that video out, Spurgle. I'm interested in hearing or seeing exactly what you're referring to with that video. I don't think there's any actual video footage of the Corvette SUV out there yet, but maybe there is. We're breaking it right here, I guess. You know, we'll start calling it a world's first. God, I hate that. I really hate that. I'm lurking, Steve. Thanks for the support. We appreciate even the lurkers. All right, so guys, like I was saying, we do have a lot of information tonight about the C8 Corvette, the C8 Corvette Z06, and the C8 Corvette ERAY. And actually, even the possible ZR1 / Zora, whatever they're going to call it. We got 4 performance variants information tonight, which is really cool. But in the meantime, guys, we got 60 thumbs ups currently. We could use a little bit more than that. Would be really cool. Once again, the car you're seeing over here is Street Speed's Corvette Z06. I had the honor of driving that thing, and it's a freaking beast. But just so you know, your car could be up there. So for an hour long on our Monday Corvette Weekly Live videos, you could have your car displayed there. If you're interested in doing that, shoot me an email at horsepowerobsessed@gmail.com or send the picture over to Vet Syndicate on Instagram, and we'll make sure to upload the coolest car the one that we think is the coolest car for the week. Steve, Steven, and Steven. Yeah. That's so funny. There is a lot of Steves. I've noticed ever since I started YouTube, almost everybody I meet is either Matt or Mike. And it gets confusing really quickly. Yeah, LT4 powered. I think he wasn't actually the one to put it on there. If I had to guess, they probably wanted him to leave it on there for an undisclosed amount of time before he took it off. Stephen Risha says, 3 more weeks until the Expel wrap. I'm sure there will be inches of snow here in Pittsburgh. It's been so hard not to drive it. Rims arrive on Thursday. So Stephen is taking his car to blackout tinning to get the Expel wrap done, which is really awesome. Definitely, I mean, even with these 2 guys here, the first thing you do before you drive that car is you get that thing Expel wrapped. That's the only way you can appreciate and drive the heck out of the car without feeling like you're destroying it. Oh yeah, Jet Driver. I did everything I could to contain myself too. And I even told Street Speed afterwards, I was like, man, my video is going to suck. And he's like, why? And I was like, I'm laughing like a 10-year-old girl the whole time. Like, people aren't even going to understand what I'm saying. It was such a blast. That car is freaking awesome. Shane. I love that you know that movie. So few people have actually seen that movie. It's hilarious. All right, guys. So we got 130 people watching. And how many thumbs ups do we have, Shane? I'm guessing it's not 130. So we could really use those thumbs ups. It'd be pretty cool. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead. Actually, let's see. What's this say? Justin, can your team make an off-color PPF that would change the Accelerate Yellow into Velocity Yellow? So, no. As of right now, the Expel film is just clear, stealth, or they have just come out with Expel Black. So it's literally black Expel PPF. So it's not vinyl. It is actually the same. It has the same properties of PPF, but it's just black.
But you know what? Here's my feeling. And me and Steve have talked about this a lot. You know, Accelerate Yellow on a C8 is the right yellow. Corvette Racing Yellow, Velocity Yellow, I mean, opinion-wise, you know, is not. Like, I think that I love my Corvette Racing Yellow on the C7. I think that's the right color for it. If it was Accelerate Yellow, I think it would look hideous. But it's one of those exotic type of colors that you would see on an exotic type of car. Being a mid-engine, to me, it is a little bit more of an exotic. And if it was a standard yellow, I don't think it would look as good. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I really don't. Seeing them both in person, side by side, I do think that the yellow on the C7 is the right yellow for the C7. If you were to flip them, it might not be quite what you want. Honestly, that's probably why GM did what they did. I mean, for the most part, GM has a pretty solid grasp on what they're doing there, aside from Cacti. But for the most part, they have a pretty good idea. And I mean, even with Cacti, I don't like it. I don't think these 2 guys like it, but that doesn't mean everybody dislikes it. I have heard from a couple people that they do like that color. And that's the thing is, GM knows not all these colors are necessarily for everybody, but somebody out there is going to like them. So they make it. But with that said, I thought like that, the Z06 of Street Speeds that I drove, that car, if you handed me the keys to that car and told me I couldn't change a single thing on it, I would not care. That I'm not a huge fan of Accelerate Yellow, but it was perfect. That car is perfect spec.
Yeah.
I would literally keep it just as it is. I tried to get him to give me the keys, and he wouldn't do it. So I guess that wasn't enough for him. But I tried to talk him in. I'm like, hey, I'll leave my ZR1 here for a week. I'll take the Z06 for a week. I almost had him convinced too. You heard him on video. It was pretty close. But we actually have. I want to talk to you guys a little bit one more about something that's a little bit different, and that's Jason actually getting a different spoiler on his car. So
yeah,
I'm going to. Yeah, Shane says, "Hush your mouth about cacti." Yeah, he's one of the lovers.
Ugh.
I'm sorry.
Crap
So
tap.
anyway, front seat driver here has his new Accelerate Yellow C8 Corvette, and he just got a new spoiler on it. I'm going to let him talk a little bit about his experience, what happened, because it's interesting. It's an interesting take. So, Jason, if you want to go ahead.
So, I swapped out from the Z51 to the Z51 spoiler to the high wing. And I know Steve absolutely loves the high wing. I do too. But, I went back and I watched the video of my car driving away before it went to the high wing. And I had the Z51 spoiler, but I had the ACS Wickers as well. I really like the way they stick up on there, much like a C7's, stage 2, spoiler. But when it first pulled up, I was like, oh my gosh, I love this high wing. It looks so exotic. But then when I went back and watched it on video, I was like, man, I don't know. I really like the Z51 spoiler as well. I think that they both look great. I just don't have a preference. Like, I don't think one is significantly better than the other. Like, I initially thought, I'm like, oh man, I'm really going to love the high wing. And I do. But again, like, I don't think it was the end of the world. I don't think it was a mandatory replacement, and I'm not going to get into it now. You have to watch the video. But I do talk about why I did switch from the Z51 spoiler to the high wing. It had to do with some other stuff on my car that made me decide that was probably the way to go. But at the end of the day, I think you could win either way. I don't think either one of them is a downside. And actually, we have a guy that's in our group that comes to a lot of our get-togethers, and he has a non-Z51. He has the little non-Z51 little small spoiler. And since his car ceramic matrix gray with the carbon flash, I think it looks really good. It just needs something on the back.
Yeah.
Hey, Jason, why are you happy? Talk about your inspection.
Yeah, I was going to say, someone's asking about your inspection. This was a really interesting situation. So, yeah.
So because I got my car from California, it couldn't be inspected by California. So I had to, they ship it to Texas. I, had it delivered to Texas, and I go to get it inspected and it fails and it wouldn't pass the emissions. So I was like, okay. So I go to my local dealership, Lynn Smith Chevrolet, and I tell them, and I was really irritated. I kind of took it out on them, and I was like, this is a bunch of crap. I shouldn't be doing this. I'm like, because they said it was my issue. I'm like, no, it's not my issue. They give me a bunch of baloney and made me feel like maybe it was my issue. So they give me this a stupid list of things that I have to do to reset the parameters on the computer, because apparently if you disconnect it, it can create this problem where it won't pass in emissions. So, and I won't get into all the details, but there was like 5 different steps with a lot of driving involved. I did it. It still didn't pass. So I was like, you know what? This is a bunch of crap. I'm like, this car is at 50 state emission approved. It should be able to pass. It's not my fault. They wanted to charge me $130 to take my car out and drive it a specific way to get it to pass an inspection. So I was like, nah, I'm not paying you guys $130. This is still under warranty. It has to be able to pass from GM. So they said, anyway, they wouldn't do it. So I called GM, got GM involved, and GM called them and they said, oh no, it was a misunderstanding. We'll happily do it. I said, I'm sure you will. So they happily did it. Well, then it turns out I don't even need an emissions test here in the DFW area, because all I needed was a safety test. Now, this is where I still get a little confused. Apparently, they only have to do it, but instead of having a standard 2-year sticker, it's just a 1 year. And then next year, I have to go back and do the emissions test. So hopefully I pass it by next year. So if anybody knows why I only needed a safety test this year, because I tried to ask them when I went to pay my TTNL, I asked them about it, and they gave me a confusing answer with no real answer, because this is like they didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah. That whole experience, like you and I had talked a lot about that. And in the very beginning, I said, you shouldn't need, none of this should matter because like when you first buy the car, you're already emissions exempt because you're under the 5,000 mile requirement for emissions. And I knew that for Pennsylvania, but I didn't know if it was necessarily the same for Texas. So I mentioned it to him in passing, not really thinking to push on that, but that's what it ended up being basically.
Well, here's what's weird is Steve's is a 2-year. Mine's a 1-year. Of course, it only cost me $7, you know, to get
your car came from California.
Yeah, probably.
What's that? All right, guys, we got 95 thumbs up currently. We could use a little bit more, would be really cool. We're going to talk more in the future about kind of the ownership experiences with these cars, especially Jason and Steve, because they have recently purchased C8s. And as you heard from Jason there, he's had a little bit of a weird kind of, I don't know, irritating issue almost, because it's one of those things where you can't really fix it. You kind of got to leave it up to the dealership to fix it. And that's not always the best way to handle things. So, yeah, Joe, I think we did just get the pinky. I'm not 100% sure exactly what he was doing, but 11-second clip says, Jason, I like your Z51 with the Wickers. I like the high wing spoilers, but the Z07 one is much better. I would have done Z07 style on yours aftermarket. Well, truth be told, they both kind of wanted to do that initially, but there's kind of an issue out there right now with number one,
I'm about ready to post it too.
Yeah,
the quality of the spoilers available are suspect. So I like it too. I really do. I love the Z07 spoiler, but I don't think I would do it right now either.
Yeah, the AGM one might be good. I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying it isn't because I have no idea. I assume they're a pretty good company, so perhaps. But that other company.
Yeah.
Well, we've already seen a big flex crack. I haven't filmed. I'm going to put that out soon. I have 2 issues I've seen, but I don't know. When it first came out, I wanted the Z07 spoil. I thought it was so good. I thought it was so cool. And as I've seen it in person, I know I definitely don't want it. And I was like 100% on board. And my opinion, it doesn't match the C8 body, the Stingray body. It looks great on a Z06. I just think something to do with how wide the Z06 is. It looks fantastic. I'm just not thrilled. After I saw it on a Stingray, I'm like, yeah, I'm keeping that. But with every mod, it's your car. You gotta love it. And that's honestly, I love everybody wants to mod their car.
I say that every time someone starts talking about mods and some of the mods they like, some of the mods they don't. If we all had the same opinions on these mods and the same opinions on cars in general, the car enthusiast crowd would be boring. So I'm very happy. Yeah, I'm very happy that it's not that way. So the fact that, you guys like the Z07 wing, and I do too, but Steve has decided against it after seeing it in person. I mean, the fact that we're all differing opinions is exactly why this crowd is so awesome. It's so awesome to be a part of this. But
yeah,
we are going to have
my video that I'm glad, I'm going to do the things the way I want them on my car. And I'm glad though that other people don't do exactly the same thing as I do, because again, there's a lot of wheels that I see I would never put on my car. I love to see it. I would never do the Lambo doors, but it doesn't mean I don't enjoy seeing it at the car events. I mean, That's what makes it fun. Go see it. I go to those to see the things that I wouldn't do or that are different than mine.
Yeah, car shows are really good for that.
When we were driving on our lunch meetup with the guys today, so I was driving next to that one car that has the Segala spoiler. Yeah. We were doing 25 miles an hour. We literally were just driving, and I noticed the wings. They were going like this at 25 miles an hour. They were shaking. So I should have videoed it, but I was like shocked that it was moving at 25. What's it going to do at 100?
Yeah, exactly. That's probably where his flex crack came from. I mean, if that thing's moving, it's only a matter of time before it cracks.
And you saw it. I sent you the video of the flex crack. It's pretty decent.
And if you guys want to see a good photograph of the two wings side by side, go to our Vet Syndicate Instagram account. There's a picture of me and him at a light, and I mean, I like it. I don't think I would do it. It's another one of those things that I like. I don't think I would do, but it does. It is interesting. It's a great picture because we're side by side at a light.
Yeah. So Justin Morgan, that's one of the things we were going to talk about today, because as usual, it's a little bit of clickbait. If you didn't watch the video, she puts the turbos on there, but she never starts or drives the car. Now, I'm sure she's going to, but she's also reducing the, there's a spring inside to hold boost. And right now she's got a 9-pound spring in there for her Stingray. She's going to reduce that to somewhere around a 1-pound spring, meaning this thing's going to get next to 0 boost, which trust me, I don't blame her, but it's one of those things that it's kind of clickbaity, but we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. What I do want to talk about is Ralph Cruz. He donated $50 via Venmo.
Got it.
Me and Ralph is a big supporter of the channel. We really appreciate it, Ralph. He finally got Venmo working. That's fantastic. I love to see it. Thank you for the support, Ralph. We will get you entered 5 times to win those engine dress-up parts, which now sounds like a pretty good time to mention that again. So, guys, every $10 donated to the channel will get you 1 entry to win the engine dress-up parts from American Hydrocarbon for your C8 Corvette Coupe. Steve, if you want to hold them up. They're carbon fiber and red painted, and as you can see, they're very, very attractive. They will look very good in your car. So if you're interested in winning those are typically, what, $600?
700.
Almost $700. So you could technically win those for $10. So if you want to get an entry, the information's up there at the top of this chat. Every $10 donated to Venmo or Super Chat on here on YouTube will get you entered to win. Right now, we already got three different people entering tonight, and all 3 of them got 5, 5, and 10 entries. So you guys, if you want to win something like that, you could potentially win it for a lot less than what you would pay to get it brand new. Joe, man, I thought that same thing. Literally the day she picked up the car, GM called her and said, hey, don't do anything crazy with that thing until it hits 1,500 miles. And then she goes home and puts a turbo kit on it. I love it. YouTubers are crazy. Mr. Inglewood says, came here after having watched the new Throttle House Z06 versus Demon video guys are talking about. I'd still take the Demon. You know what? That video was really surprising to me because that Demon is a freaking beast. And somehow the Z06 beats it. I don't know how that's possible. I really don't. But at the same time, I'm done questioning this car because every single time I've questioned something being legit or not, I find out the hard way it is. Because like when Street Speed dynoed his car at 640 horsepower, I was like, no way, that dyno's reading high. It's not possible. And then whenever he races me in my 702 wheel horsepower ZR1, it kept right up with it. So that number has to be legit. And that number is totally crazy out of a naturally aspirated V8. I have no idea how it's possible.
You got another Venmo.
All right, Blown 6 Gen sends a Venmo, maybe.
That's what he says.
Yep, there it is. So another $50 for Blown 6 Gen. His name's Jeremy. Merry Christmas. Hope you have a safe and happy one. Thank you, Blown. I'm going to call you Jeremy from now on because... yeah. Thanks for the Venmo, Jeremy. You're going to be entered to win as well. That will actually look really cool on your car
10.
too. What's
He's
that?
up for 10. He's got 10 entries now because he put 50 last 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You guys
10.
remember he was the one with the anniversary edition, the one that we featured on here one night. So that will look really cool on his C8 for sure.
Yes.
Got 115 thumbs up currently, guys. We've got about 170 people watching. Be really cool if those numbers could match, guys. Please, thumbs up really help the channel, really help support what we're doing here. We would really appreciate it. Demon needs a prepped surface or it's Burnout City. That's partially true, but in that race that they were doing, they were actually doing it like a roll race. So they were getting up to like 40 or 50 before hammering the throttle, which is, again, really surprising. But somehow the Z06 wins. Like I said, I can't question this car anymore because it really is that good. LT4 powered. I'll let you call him whatever you want to call him. But He's Jeremy to me now.
Mm.
170 thumbs up current. Did it really jump that far?
No, I think men watching is 170.
Oh, I was going to say, there's no way it jumped that much. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, Shane, you had me going, man. That would have been pretty cool. Steven Rapp says, I'll be calling you Jason on Venmo. Issues. I must have too much CO2 cold starting my C8. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I get called Jason all the time anyway. Jason gets called Justin all the time. So him and I we randomly call each other by different names and we know who we're talking to still. Great White North Corvette says, how much horsepower do you think the twin turbo will be on a Z06? Honestly, if that was turned up to, I don't know, 5 to 8 pounds of boost, you're going to see, I would bet, a healthy 1,000 horsepower for about 3 seconds. And then all of a sudden things are going to go boom. There's no way that car is going to handle turbocharging very well unless you start like seriously modifying stuff. The engine's got a really high compression ratio, which is typically not great for forced induction. It could do well, I guess, but I'm not going to be the guy that tries it. That's for sure. If Amelia wants to do it, great for her. She's got more money than I do. Someone's going to be replacing an engine. What's up, Bruno? Merry Christmas. Like I said, this will be the last live video before Christmas. So for those of you just tuning in, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all those good things. Hopefully you guys have a good one. I know we will actually have a live video the day after Christmas, so we'll get to catch up then. But Zero says, is it true the ZR1 is going to have 962 horsepower on twin turbos? Here's the problem with this. I think it was Motor One that recently put out an article talking about the ZR1. They're still showing pictures of the ZR1 in camo that was the same pictures that we saw probably about a year and a half ago that ended up being the Z06. I don't know why they keep doing this. Like, they're showing you something new. It's the same pictures from a year and a half ago that turned out to be the Z06. So there is no proof, nothing whatsoever, that a ZR1 is coming. Zero. There's none of it. So that's one of the biggest reasons why I don't think we're going to get a ZR1 monikered car. I think the next one is going to just jump straight to Azora. And I actually saved a document that I found a long time ago, kind of detailing the performance variants coming, because we had the C8, then afterwards they said the ERAY, I think, and then a Grand Sport, and then a ZR1, and then a Zora. And then they also showed how much horsepower each one was going to have. So far, the horsepower numbers have been totally wrong. So I think people are just guessing at this. And I mean, for the most part, you can guess. You can kind of follow the C7 launch schedule and the C7 models and kind of mirror the C8 ones after that. But it's not always exactly the same. On the paper, the ZR1, if it is actually twin turbocharged and all that stuff, it was 850 horsepower, yeah. But again, I really don't feel like we're going to get that, but we'll see. I would like to, I would love to be wrong about this. Trust me. I think the ZR1's a really cool idea. It's a cool model. Obviously, I'm a little bit biased, but at the same time, I'd love to see one. I just really don't feel like we're going to. LT4 powered. He has not yet. The car was picked up by a shipping company and taken to GM to be diagnosed, but no further information has been detailed yet. So we don't know exactly what happened with it. Kevin Horan, I don't think we need to see any more snow than we already have here. Don't listen to my wife. You guys in Texas and Florida have it easy. I just came back from Florida on Saturday. It was 82 degrees there, and right now in PA it's like 23. Wow. So, jeez. Yeah, it's rough. Great White North Corvette. I still think the Zora could possibly be fully electric If it's not, I could see them using maybe a twin turbocharged version of the LT6, but it would be semi different, and with some sort of hybrid assist motor on the front wheels that's even bigger than what we're going to get on the E-Ray to make it around 1,000 horsepower. Yeah, LT4 powered, I agree. That's the biggest reason I don't drive my cars in the wintertime. It's not really the snow, it's the salt that they put down here in PA. Salt just kills your freaking car.
See, I dreamt of driving the Lambo in the snow, wanted to go out and do donuts. I was going to, pretend like I was Stradman when they did it. And it was really cool when it was like perfectly white snow.
Yeah.
And then I went out the truck and all I could see was brown snow everywhere. And I was like, I'm not putting my car in that crap.
So Black Rose Z06, this is the exact problem with this kind of stuff. He says GM already talked about the next two released cars, ERAY and ZR1. They never said the names of these cars. They never once called them an ERAY, never once called it a ZR1. That's the issue with reading what these news articles are putting out and stuff. They're putting their own twist on it, saying that, oh, this is the E-Ray, this is the ZR1. We have no idea what those cars are. Not a clue. For all we know, that's the C9 that they're testing. So they never said that because GM has never once mentioned the name E-Ray. They've never once said that at all until the latest E-Ray leak online. That's the only reason we even know for sure that that car is going to be called an E-Ray. GM has never said that. So
hey, Justin,
you want to watch, you got to divide yourself from the stuff that people say online and what the real truth is. Because even what I'm saying, this is speculation. I have no idea if they're going to bring a ZR1 and call it a Zora. I don't know. What's up, Steve?
So Blown Six, you want to add something to what he says. So Blown Six Gen says, the climate of this country, I don't think there is any way we'll see a twin turbo ZR1, especially with GM pushing so much towards EV. And so what struck me, I went to get the mail the other day on Saturday. I don't know if you've gotten it yet, but there's a nice big thick book magazine.
Yep,
and it's all about EV, all about GM. I mean, it makes me nauseous. Everything from the truck to this, and trying to sell you on this crap.
You know, I looked through that magazine thinking that there would be something about an E-Ray in there, and there wasn't.
Nope, I know. But after reading that, I just sat there like, yeah, it's really happening. They're going to get rid of the combustion engine. They're going to go to this EV crap, and everything's going to be controlled. Everything's going to be shut off.
Yep.
Oh, don't get me started on
this. This is exactly why. This is exactly why I'm saying the ZR1 is not going to be a ZR1. It's going to be a Zora, and it's very likely to be, if not fully electric, it's going to at least be a hybrid. That's I can almost guarantee it. I don't want to say I guarantee it because there is still a chance. We are right at the cusp of people totally canning their gas-powered engines and moving towards electric. But at the same time, there's those last couple companies that are hanging on for dear life with their last performance models. It is possible we would get a ZR1. I just don't see why they would do it.
Like an ER1 or an EV1 or something lame.
That's all I'm really saying. Like, we could get a ZR1. It's just not going to actually be called a ZR1. It's going to be a Zora or something like that. Yeah. So we got two more Venmos. Oreste, I'm not sure what the username is here on the channel. Huh?
How do I put it in here? I'm logging in, so how do I spell this?
It's Oreste. He donated $20. He says, you guys rock. Still no CFV delivery for my 2023 70th anniversary Z06. That sucks. If you hear us talking about you, please put your name over here in the chat so we can give you, put a screen name to your actual name. And then the next donation was from Jeremy Miller. Again, I'm not sure if you want to put your name in the chat here so we know what your chat name is versus your real name. Jeremy, we appreciate it. He donated $100, so he gets entered 10 times.
Dang.
Yeah. Guys are doing well tonight. Thanks for all the support, guys. You're really you're killing it tonight. But real quick, I want to mention our giveaway. For those of you just joining, we are taking every $10 donation, get you a chance to win the engine dress-up parts from American Hydrocarbon that Steve has here. They're carbon fiber and red painted. They'll fit any C8 Corvette coupe. So if you want to get something like that and have your Corvette stand out, These things are worth about $700. So if you donate $10, you get a 1 entry to win. All right, so Joey B is or
yeah, it's all right.
Joey B is Oreste. If you want to put that in, Steve.
Joey B.
Yep.
Yeah,
Joey
B is in boy.
And Jeremy Miller is 2020 Matrix 8. Okay, so he definitely has a C8. So you guys could definitely benefit from this. Would be awesome. Thanks for the support, guys. We really appreciate it. I've seen you on here a couple times. 2020 Matrix 8. Joey B, I'm not sure if I've seen you on here before, but actually I think I have. Either way, we appreciate the support, guys. You don't know how much your support like this actually helps the channel. We put all this back into us coming up with new ideas, making things easier and work better every Monday night for you. So definitely appreciate it. Price point for future C8 models. That's a good one, Carrie, Doug. I think personally the ERAY is going to start between the base and the Z06. So I'm guessing it's going to start at either 80 or 90 before options. The next model after the Z06, I personally believe is going to be the Zora. And if it is the Zora, I see that starting at around 120 to 130, maxing out at over 200. Now, depending on what they do with that car, there is a chance that it starts even higher, because if it's fully electric, I could see it starting at 120 to 130. If they do go big combustion engine with a hybrid motor set up in the front, that could increase the price even further. So it could be 150, 160 starting. Either way, the next model's coming after the ERAY. Anything that comes after the ERAY at this point is going to be significant. Zira gives a super chat of $20, so that is 2 entries to win the engine dress-up parts. If you want to throw those in there too, Steve.
What is it, Zera?
ZERA. Very close to Zora.
Did you read what Steven wrote? Yep.
He says, and if I win, I'm willing to sell at highest offer to go back to the channel if that can be done.
It can be done.
I was going to say, it does not matter to me at all what you do with these things after you get them. They are your property if you do end up winning. Jeff, yeah, I'm thinking, depending on how they go with this thing, it's probably going to be right around 150. Yeah, especially if it's a big V8 with hybrid motors in the front, I can see it. Avik, man, I really don't want to necessarily hear that, but I can't disagree. I'm a Packers fan, and I'm choosing to be on here doing this instead of watching that game. So. Great White North says, has anybody been quoted for insurance for the Z06, and what does it compare? That's a good question. That sounds like a video. Great White North Corvette. I'm going to be making the phone call tomorrow. Shane says we got 140 thumbs up currently. Looks like we got almost 200 people watching. So it'd be really cool, guys, if you could hit that thumbs up. It really helps the channel. We would greatly appreciate it.
I know my C8's cheaper for insurance than my C7.
Mine is too.
By a lot.
See, the weird thing for me, and I'm actually putting together a video for this, and I've been putting together this video now for 8 months. Last time I talked to Jason about doing it. I was going to talk a lot about like the ZR1 and my experience with it and everything. And my ZR1 insurance barely changed at all from my C7 Z06. Like I'm talking like $3 or $4 a year. And that kind of stuff is pretty impressive whenever you think about the fact that my rate on my ZR1, I think, is $400 a year for the insurance on that. And that's full coverage.
Who's it through?
ERAY Insurance, which is,
I try to call them, but they don't do it here.
Yeah. It's like a Northwest or Northeast thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
who me and Steve.
Yeah, exactly. Because I used to be USAA, and it was 140 a month, and I went to National Corvette Museum, and it went down to 53 a month. And wow. And that's $500 deductible, 250 comp. I only drive 3,000 miles a year, so it helped with that. Or actually, I drive less than 3,000, but they gave me 3,000. Or they give me 5,000. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But I only drive 3. But that's still cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were a lot cheaper for the cars I've had in the past. That's why I've used them for years. I only do like the Corvettes and stuff like that. My wife's car we do through AAA, but yeah.
Yeah, and Amber kind of says the same something here I should have mentioned is that the amount of cars that I have on my policy does affect obviously what my rate is on that ZR1. So the more cars you have, typically the less it is on all of them. Richard says, will there be a Zora and a ZR1? Very unlikely that we're going to get both. If I had to guess, the Zora is going to be the one that is going to replace the ZR1. But, yeah. All right, so, guys, I'm going to talk real quick about some of the news that we have here today. I want to discuss some of this with you. The first piece of information here is going to be the 2023 Corvette and Car and Driver naming it one of the top 10 best cars, basically. So there's a video here and some information over at the Mid-Engine Corvette forum. I'm not going to dig too deep into this, but this is a pretty good accomplishment. As you know, Car and Driver reviews a lot of different cars, and they are naming the C8 Corvette in general, not the Z06, just the C8 Corvette in general, as one of the top 10 cars you can buy right now. Very, very awesome award to win, of course. Say what you will about some of these car magazines. You know, they all have their pros and cons and everything, but getting something like that is still pretty cool, especially if you are a Corvette fan. Like I talked about on the thumbnail there, we do also have a bump in horsepower possibly coming for the C8 Corvette. Now, this is something that the Corvette blogger actually threw at us. And you can see there, it says, is a bump in horsepower for the LT2 V8 engine in the works? And the reason they think that is because of those test exhaust pipes sticking out. So you can see those are the pipes that they use whenever they're at the track and things like that, whenever they need to monitor exactly how much power is being created by this car. And if they're planning on putting a different exhaust on there as an option, they need to also report to the EPA if the car is making a different amount of horsepower than what it was already certified for. So it's certified for 495 horsepower. If they put this other exhaust on there and all of a sudden it's now making even 510, it's got to be recertified through the EPA. So this looks like they may be testing out a different exhaust or something to make this car make a little bit more horsepower. Now, this is interesting because just earlier tonight, I was talking with Steve before we got on here about how I do believe it would be possible to squeeze a little bit more power out of the base C8 just because of how much power that C8 Z06 makes out of a naturally aspirated engine. It does seem like it is possible you would get a little bit more. Paper Tiger, yeah, that is Street Speed's Z06 there in the car of the week spot.
Well, you know what? I want to talk real quick. I went to the Cadillac dealer because my wife's car had a check engine light come on. But so we're talking about the availability of the C8s. What threw me today is this dealership has probably, let's just say 30 cars, because it seemed like 30. There was 3 C8s used for sale. I was shocked, like 3 of them. I mean, so somebody's trading these cars in. They're not as hard to get as people think they are anymore. And the prices are probably definitely dropping because they're literally, I mean, it was 2 red ones and a rapid blue. And I was like, dang, they're all sitting on this lot.
Yep. Yeah. And everything I've seen, and even me and Jason, we're in a text message thread with Al over at Boardwalk Chevrolet. He's got 2 brand new ones sitting on the floor, brand new, literally no miles, brand new, never been titled, never been driven. And he's asking $5,000 over. That's ridiculous to me. There was people out there charging way over $5,000 over for allocations, not a car that's actively sitting there ready to go now. So, I mean, I would say in the next, I don't know, week or 2, that car is going to be sold at MSRP and it's sitting right there on the lot ready to go. I think that's awesome. I think we're finally starting to get back to the point where things make a little bit more sense.
Yeah. Dude, there's lots all over DFW with 3 or 4 C8s on them, and they're not even General Motors. I mean, they're just anybody. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. Nissan, whatever.
That one we drove by whenever I was down there. Remember, it had like 3 C8s and then a C7 right up front.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like all the flippers, they all unloaded their cars, and now all these dealers are stuck with them.
Yeah. Yeah, because the dealer paid that flipper a lot of money for that car, and now he can't get that back because he waited too long.
Right. Yep. Exactly.
So
yeah, Kerry Glock is right.
Yeah. The economy in general is hurting pretty bad right now.
Yes,
So that's going to affect.
Right.
Yeah, that's going to affect a lot of the prices of cars in general. C8's obviously included in that.
Mm-hmm. It's a punch in the gut, man.
All right, guys. So it looks like we have 142 thumbs up, 145 thumbs up. We got 175 people watching. Guys, thumbs up really, really help the channel. Would really appreciate it if you could hit that button. It's free and it makes us happy. If you want to give me the best possible Merry Christmas, hit that thumbs up. Do you think they'll ever do a special edition manual transmission for the C8 Corvette? Highly doubt it. Here's the reason why. Initially, whenever the C8 first came out, I actually did a video talking about how GM had filed a patent for a clutch-by-wire system that would work as a manual transmission feature in a C8, because when you push the clutch, it would actually have to engage a clutch behind you, not in front of you, like a normal transmission on a Corvette. Or, well, I guess the C7 was similar. Basically, it was going to be done by wire, not by hydraulics. Very similar to how the braking system works in the C8. So I thought for a second, maybe we would get one. Whenever I first sat in a C8 Corvette, I realized really quickly a manual transmission would not work in that car. The center console is up so high that your manual gear shifter would be super uncomfortable to use. So I highly doubt it. Plus, that tunnel is very likely going to house a battery at some point. So putting a gear shifter in there, it's pretty much impossible. All right, so let's take a look at one more piece of information here. We also have something from the Mid-Engine Corvette forum talking about the ERAY. This again was in the thumbnail, so you guys are going to want to see this. And this is the Motor One website claiming that the ERAY will not be a PHEV. So that's not pronounced FEV. That is just PHEV. And what that means is basically it is not going to be a hybrid vehicle that you can plug in. Now, I got this question a lot when we were first breaking the news of the ERAY leak online. A lot of people wanted to know if it was going to be able to be plugged in. And typically hybrid cars they're not cars you plug in. That's something that only a full electric car is for the most part. There are some hybrids that plug in, but I don't think the ERAY was ever going to be that. It was never going to go that route, because it just doesn't make sense for this particular hybrid to be something you also plug in, because it's going to rejuvenate its own power, and it's only going to provide, on full battery power, it's only going to provide probably between 10 and 20 miles of travel on just battery. It's not there to be a solving problem for the gas or, the miles per gallon. It's really more so there for performance. Now it's going to also, lend a hand to the miles per gallon, of course, but you're not going to travel with that car in full electric mode for long periods of time. That's very unlikely what they were ever going for. So no plug-in. Motor One says that they've confirmed that. I don't know if they really have or not, but based on what I've seen of the car, I don't see anything telling me that this is going to be a car that you can plug in either. So I think they're right.
Are any hybrids plug-in? I mean, I don't know.
There are some, but it's very few. It's not very often that you see that.
Yeah, I just thought that was for those lame, cars. They're full electric.
The full electric ones are obviously plug-in, but
yeah,
some of the hybrids do get plugged in as well. And it depends on what the hybrid's really built for. Because if it's built for performance, they don't bother plugging them in, because the hybrid motor by itself is only going to give you 20 or 30 miles max. Like, it's not there to be run on full battery at any point. It's only there to assist. And the biggest thing it's assisting with the The E-Ray is the fact that it's giving it all-wheel drive. Like it's a performance bump on a couple different levels, but it's not there to be a full electric type thing.
The
Yeah,
original
Volvo is
Bolt
one
was
of them has a plug-in hybrid, which they do exist, but the Corvette's very unlikely to ever be that. Yeah, Taj said it was performance only. I didn't hear him say that, but I assumed as much. Modern Grub, it's not really a twin turbo leak. It was a we were talking a little bit about the stuff that Amelia did with her car. She took the twin turbo kit off of the base C8 that she has, and she put it over onto her Z06, but she didn't drive it. So just putting it on there for the looks is one thing. She didn't really start it up or drive it, but I suspect she probably will in future videos. But if she does, and she puts if she puts a spring in there that creates any more than a couple pounds of boost, that thing is going to, it's not going to be pretty. It may make a lot of power for a second, but it's not going to, there's no way it holds that power for long. I just can't see that happening. All right. So Whitmoyer's been firm on MSRP and now maybe not. What? Did they change something, Shane? Shane, you must share. Share with me what you're referring to. Best color on a Vette, bright yellow or red. Wow. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. This is putting protective dad pranks directly against front seat driver. All right, go, guys. Battle it out. Which color?
See, here's my opinion. Yes. Like, the thing is, I love both of them.
Jason,
on the
stop
Z06,
being reasonable.
I like the red better.
Stop being reasonable. Go after Steve. Go after him. Go for the throat.
Red,
I would love to, but I love red. You know what I mean?
I love the red, but seeing Jason's yellow, if I was at back when I needed a Corvette or wanted one, if that what yellow one was available, I would have bought it.
Yeah.
Those are the only two colors that I would consider, a red one or a yellow one. Like when I drove behind, I'm telling you, I was watching. So I have like a quarter-mile road that comes to my house, and I was watching Jason come up the other day, and it looks menacing. Like it just looks like it's stalking. I just like that. That color is awesome.
Yeah, but remember, we went and saw, me and you in Miami, we saw the Accelerate Yellow Z06. And I was like, I walked in, I looked at it, I was like, nice. Then I went to Waco and I saw the red, and I was literally the only person there. My friend invited me. He goes, there ain't gonna be nobody here. So I went out. There was no one there for like hours. As soon as I walked in, I could literally feel like the blood in my eyes. The second I saw it, like immediately shot through the front of my eye socket, man. I mean, my eye blew out when I saw that red Z06. Man, the red, that's why I said to that one, I replied to him, I just said yes. Laugh out loud, because I love them both.
Yeah. Well, me and you have talked about this before too. I thought the Accelerate Yellow for some reason to me looked different on a Z06 than it does on a C8. Or a Stingray, I should say.
But I mean, for you, I get it. It's probably just that body style. You maybe, since you don't like the color, it doesn't.
Maybe.
You know,
it's not that I don't like
for
it.
me,
It's not that I don't like it. And honestly, I think there's only one color on the C8 I don't like. The rest of them I can appreciate. It's just not for me.
Right.
But just like Whip Reynolds said here, like it's black all day long. Like honestly, for me, there's really only two colors I'd ever consider, and it's black and red. Maybe that makes me boring.
I would never do
it probably
black.
Does, but I don't care.
I love black. Like, I think it looks sinister. I think it hides too much of it, and it's just, to me, it just looks mean, but I really like something that pops.
Yeah.
That's why I love red, love yellow. I love bright colors, especially cacti.
You know what's funny is
don't offend Shane.
I know.
Everybody knows I
Shane
hate
likes
blue.
Shane likes cacti. That's awesome, guys. So we got, while the weirdness was happening, we got an extra donation from Stupid Fast Truck. He donated $10 to the giveaway as well. He said he got his license plate frame. Thanks, guys.
Hey.
Thank you for the support. Hopefully you guys can hear us. Yeah, no, I pay my cable bills. Trust me, that's like one of the only bills I make sure is paid all the time. Cool. That's awesome that we're back, guys. But anyway, thumbs ups really help. I know that's probably not the best time to ask for that because that was kind of weird. But one last thing we're going to mention is a kind of a patent or something that was filed for possible active aero. Now, if you guys are following the C8 Corvette trends at all, you'll know that we have talked a lot about the ZR1 or Zora or whatever having possible active aero. For those of you who don't know what that is, active aero is literally something that can move while you turn the wheel. It will move the opposite direction to give you more of cornering ability, or it can actually shift its aerodynamics to the point where it's a more aggressive downforce or less aggressive for more top end. So it can literally be changed at the drop of a hat. GM has filed for those patents in the past for active aero, and it looks like we're talking a little bit more about that again because it's recently come up again. So we'll switch over here real quick to the Mid-Engine Corvette forum, maybe. Nope.
Yeah, because back in the day when I used to do the C8 videos, I did a video about their active aero patents a long time ago. It was really interesting too. It seems like it'd be something that'd be really cool.
Huh. Well, this is not working for some reason, but I will try to show you this in a second. But yeah, this particular active aero actually, or this document actually shows what the active aero would look like on a car with a big wing, which of course is kind of indicative of a ZR1. But again, it could be literally exactly what you would expect the ZR1 to look like with a Zora badge slapped on it. It does not have to be anything really overly specific to be a ZR1. They could call it whatever they want. So whenever I say I don't think that a ZR1 is going to exist, that's not me saying that kind of car is not going to exist. That's just me saying they're not going to call it a ZR1. I really want to use this. I don't know why it's not working here. Huh. That is really weird. But anyway, guys, what are you thinking? What are your thoughts on this? I know the whole ZR1 Zora thing's kind of controversial, it seems. Kind of seems like some people want it to be a ZR1, some don't really care. What are your thoughts on it?
I don't care. I think it'd be cool if they called it a Zora.
I do too. I mean that's coming from a guy who's a ZR1. Yeah. I don't know. Like I obviously like the ZR1, but
don't make it electric.
Yeah. That's literally the only thing that matters. I mean, whether I can afford it or not is irrelevant.
And see, that's another thing though, is if they're planning on making it electric, which they probably are, why not call it something different? Because none of the ZR1s in the past have been electric. You know, with the Z06, the C8 Z06 now kind of returning to its roots of naturally aspirated V8 goodness, why would you take the ZR1 and throw an electric motor on it? Like, if you're going to do that, call it something else. And that's another reason why I think they could possibly call it the Zora. Because why do you want to tarnish a name like the ZR1 with, I don't know, I say tarnish, but it's not even tarnishing necessarily. It's just different. And it doesn't have to be that way. Just call it something else.
I think they need to call it the 2020, whatever, 5 Corvette WEF.
Yeah, I agree with Kerry Glock. Like, they should not associate electric with Zora.
No.
No way.
That wasn't his dream.
What was WEF going to stand for, Jason?
The World Economic Forum. The whole reason we have
of course. I knew I shouldn't have asked.
And politics.
And broadcast.
They're not a government organization. They're not a government organization. They just run the world. Unelected.
Klaus. Let's see. There you go.
Klaus. It's Klaus. Yeah.
Klaus Schwab.
Yeah, Nazis.
And back to Corvette stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say it.
It is. It's the Corvette WEF, man. The
and
ER1,
back to our original programming here. Yeah, 11-second clips. I agree. Let's not ruin the ZR1 name with electric. Let's not do that. Yep. And that's another reason why I think they're going to call it a Zora. I agree they shouldn't necessarily refer to the Zora for a full electric because of what he stood for, but at the same time, his name's never been on the car before. So calling it a Zora, even though maybe you don't think that that works with him, it does work with the brand because it's something totally different.
Until they give us an SUV and a mom car and a whole bunch and ruin the Corvette name in general.
Yeah, see, that to me, I do think that is going to water down the brand name, especially if they do the GM move, which is taking a Blazer frame and slapping a couple different pieces on it and calling it a Corvette SUV. Like, the only way that the Corvette being its own brand, making SUVs and all that stuff, the only way that will work is if the SUVs and anything that they make under that Corvette brand is a totally different car. So different cars, different SUVs, different whatevers, crossovers, whatever they're going to make. It cannot be built off of something that GM already has. It can't. If you do that, you're watering down the brand.
Yep.
That I would agree. I don't think it's a problem for them to make an SUV, but you're right. It better be its own entity.
100%. And GM doesn't typically do that. Like, even my wife's Cadillac, she has a Cadillac XT5. It's built on the Blazer frame. Like, it's a totally different vehicle, but it's built on a frame that they already have. And that, to me, is the wrong way to do this. You can't, especially if they're going to break off and make Corvette its own thing, you cannot do it that way.
Yeah.
185 thumbs up currently, guys, but that's pretty cool. We are really close to 200, and that is literally where I want to be on these live videos. 200 every night or every Monday night would be really cool. That's impressive. The GT3 RS was tested at 1.66 Gs at 125 miles per hour in corners. That's insane.
Oh, I would die.
That is insane. I think the highest I've ever hit in my ZR1 was 1.06. And that, it literally, I could feel like my intestines and stuff being like shifted to one side. It was weird. But yeah, guys, active aero patents look like they have been refiled by GM, or at least renewed for, like I said, for active aero in future C8, possibly C9 Corvettes. I mean, they don't have to tell you when this car's coming or anything, so there's no way for us to know exactly what is going to be using that. But active aero is a pretty cool thing to see on a Corvette. There's hardly any active aero out there on high-end Lamborghinis and stuff, so they do use it, but it not very often. So if the Corvette has it, like, we're literally talking about some really cool advanced tech on a car that costs a fraction of the high-end Lamborghinis and stuff that are using it too.
I agree with Vetsweet. Dodge is committing suicide.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's the thing, is that Dodge, I'm surprised, because Dodge seems to be the last one to jump on those bandwagons. Like, they were pushing hard on the big Hellcat engines and stuff. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but I read somewhere that a Hellcat engine at wide open throttle will burn through all of the gas in your tank. And that the tank in a Hellcat's like 20 gallons. Wide open throttle, 20-gallon gas tank, it will burn through all of it in 11 minutes. That is insane. But I love it. I love their approach to it. It's just one of those, I don't care, throw the horsepower at it approach. Obviously, kind of coincides with the name of the channel here, but it's cool. And then the next thing I see, they're bringing out the Challenger Daytona or whatever that's fully electric, and they're giving it really nice sounding speakers that make it sound like it has an exhaust. Like, it's so backwards, it's not even funny. But
I'll be honest with you. I hope Dodge literally goes out of business. I hope I hate it for the people that work there. Go get a job somewhere else, man. I mean, I don't want that company to succeed, because that means if they'll fall on their face, then maybe everybody else will like take a step back.
Yeah, it's only going to take one company to do that. And that's why I was actually kind of upset to see that, GM was taking a loan for 2.5 billion, and they're putting it all towards electric vehicle stuff, the batteries and all the stuff that they need for electric vehicles. And it's like, that is almost a guaranteed way to make exactly what you just said happen. That's the way to make it happen. You're taking a loan that you probably can't pay back for a part of your company that doesn't make sense right now, and they're going to push it.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny? So, anytime we talk about this EV stuff on the channel, I get all the same comments over here. Nobody is in line with this. Nobody wants this. So why is it happening?
Klaus Schwab, he says, you will do it. You will do it. Will
What's
rise
up,
high.
Demonetized. All right, Bill Thompson. Thanks for tuning in. I've definitely seen you on here before. I appreciate your support. Dad's Garage, I want to acknowledge you. I think it looks like you just got on. I didn't see you before this. I think we're going to wrap this up, though, guys. We're a little bit over our time frame here. We covered a little bit of information. I'm going to recap real quick. The 2023 Corvette C8 is the top 10 car for car and driver. Like, they're putting it in their top 10 list of coolest cars, basically. There is a rumor for a bump in horsepower on the C8 Corvette because of some new exhaust tech that they might be playing with. So in the future, the C8 Corvette Stingray might get a little bit of a bump in horsepower. Motor One claims that the ERAY will not be a PHEV, meaning it will not have the ability to be plugged in. It's only going to use those front motor or motors as a performance add-on, not necessarily something specifically for gas mileage. And lastly, I couldn't show you because I can't get it to pop up on here, but the Chevy has filed or at least renewed patents for the ZR1 Zora or next performance variant active aero. So the ability to have the spoiler actively move while you're driving the car to help cornering and help downforce and all that stuff. So that's pretty much the news tonight, guys. The rest of it was just conversation. And we only need 4 more thumbs up, guys, to hit 200.
We're not leaving.
4 more.
4 more. We need 4 more. There's definitely 4 people who haven't punched it in here yet.
There's now only 3.
Yeah.
There's definitely 3 of you guys that haven't hit the thumbs up yet. Please hit that before you leave. It would really help us a lot. Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. All the good stuff. Thank you all for your support over this past year. We're about to enter into a new one, but we will see you guys again right after Christmas. Merry Christmas again. And yeah, thanks for all the support tonight, guys. You guys are awesome. We'll see you next Monday night. Sweet. 202.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Happy New Year.